So what is a cavity tray? Well, a tray that goes in a cavity, of course. And what's a cavity? Well, we're talking about cavity walls. So if you know how a house is constructed these days, we have cavity walls. We would have block work on the inside skin. This is looking end on the wall, if you like, the bit you can't really see. And this on the outside is our cavity wall. So we would have 1, 2, 3 bricks, and then again 1, 2, 3 bricks. So on the outside we have the brickwork, and on the inside we have the block work. And just to give you another little tip, if you look at a brick wall and you see bricks running in the conventional way, and that would be an indication that you'd have a cavity wall, because all your bricks are laid long ways in what they call stretchers. If you see a brick wall, some of the bricks are short and then some of the bricks are longer, then that is an indication of a solid wall, so you haven't got a cavity. Hopefully you know which you've got. As a rough guide, I'd say anywhere around 1900s. My house was built in 1906. It's got a cavity wall, but maybe 1920s, that kind of thing, they really started coming into their own. So the reason that cavity walls came in, 2 things. One is that you get better insulation because you've got an air gap between the two. You haven't got the same thermal transmission conduction from the outside to the inside skin. The other reason that cavity walls came in was because you had this little thing that we all know in England, all know and love, which is called rain. And the rain beats down upon the brickwork, and if it's in an exposed position, in the end the droplets of water come through the mortar courses or the brick itself, but one way or another they penetrate, and then you get little drops of water appearing on the inside. Now that's not anything to worry about, because that would normally go down to a foundation, and then the foundation, it would soak away into the ground or whatever. So not a huge problem. That's the way it's designed to work. In other words, the wall is designed to leak, which is why the Brick Development Association say in a properly constructed wall you don't need to use any surface water repellent or anything like that. I totally agree with that. In a properly constructed wall is the operative phrase there, because obviously a properly constructed wall these days means a cavity wall. If you did it with a solid wall, they would say, well, that's not a properly constructed wall according to modern building techniques and building regulations. So there's a get out clause there. If you've got a solid wall, there is very much a good case for having some kind of surface water repellent on there, like Storm Dry, to stop that water penetrating through to the inner surface. So that water is doing its bit. That's absolutely fine, no problem. Except that they build an extension here, coming out here, say from here to here, nice flat roof extension coming all the way out, and they knock through all that brickwork that was there. So supposing this is a flat roofed extension for sake of argument, it doesn't have to be, could be a pitched roof up there, but whatever it is, they've now turned some of what was outside the building to inside the building. And they do that by putting in a couple of what a lot of people call RSJs, or steel beams, universal columns, whatever you want to call them, and those go under the wall like that. So one of them's like that, like an I-beam if you like, and then there's another one there to support that wall. So they're running across there, yeah? This rain continues to beat on that wall there, and then suddenly they're getting drops coming down between the beams, or the plasterboard that's under the beams is getting wet, and they're seeing patches of damp appearing on that plasterboard. Time to do something about it, because if you don't, you're going to get rusty beams and all the rest of it. When the extension is built, it says on the building regulations that there's supposed to be a cavity tray there, and those cavity trays are supposed to be put in above the steelwork in a position somewhere here. Now, the idea of them is that they can catch any wind-blown rain that's coming through there, and as it trickles down inside, the cavity tray catches it. So we would put a cavity tray in somewhere here, for example, and that cavity tray would go down there and it would go out there. And then in the brickwork there, we would have what we call weep holes, which are, you may see them on some brickwork, they just look like there's a bit of mortar missing, and some people, well-meaning people, go and plug that up with a bit of sand and cement and think, oh, there's a leak there, there's a situation, but they're actually made to leak. Leave those alone. They've usually got a little plastic thing inside them to stop the bees and insects getting in, but so long as they're clear, you might just go and poke them with a stick. They will take the water that's being caught on that cavity tray, and they will take that water out through that weep hole, which is in what we call the perpendicular joint, and take it safely away. So you'll have no problem. Now, very often, because it's an absolute pain for the builder to take those bricks out, put in the cavity trays in sections, put the weep holes in, butt them up together, all the way along there, they don't bother. And sometimes the building inspectors don't look, they don't see that that hasn't been done. If they do see it, they may get the builder to chop all this brickwork out. It can only be done a bit at a time, and then put those cavity trays in. Another way that they overcome it, we got a building control officer who wrote to a comment in our storm dry video, and he said, actually, we approve storm dry as an alternative to a cavity tray if it's impossible to put a cavity tray in for any reason, or difficult. But most of the time, if you can get the cavity tray in, you're a lot better off putting the cavity tray in. But if you can't, and if you need a very quick solution, then obviously coating this with a coating of storm dry or some other water repellent, but storm dry is the one I know, makes it less likely that water's going to be trickled down there. And I have done this on a number of occasions for people when they've had this problem with the driving rain, gone up there, shoved a coat of storm dry on it, and it solved the problem. And you know, why bother having all the brickwork chopped out if you can do that? But when the builder is building your extension and it says on the drawing insert cavity tray, that's what should be done. And as I say, I quite understand why it's not done, because it's a complete pain. Now, if this happened to be a pitched roof that they had there, we'll just get rid of those windows just because they don't help the cause. So we've got a pitched roof there, a typical construction there. So we've put in our pitched roof. So we can't now put those cavity trays along there because they would be inside the room or inside the loft space, however it was done. So the cavity trays have to be put in along here, and each one of those cavity trays has to be coincide with the stepped flashing, and the stepped flashing is going to go in. So the cavity tray has to go in above that stepped flashing, and it's like a box section. I've got an image on the screen now showing it to you. And that one feeds into the next one down and the next one, and it cascades down. And it could actually fall as water inside the remaining bit of wall, but in actual fact they put some weep holes, the same idea, they would put the weep holes in the vertical joints on the bricks so that you could release the water from those cavity trays as they go up. But an absolute fiddle to do, and of course you've always got that problem when you're taking bricks out and then you're putting them back in of shrinkage on the mortar. So unless you dry pack it and you get it really wedged in there very well, as the mortar dries you'll get that shrinkage and you get a hairline crack anyway. So a lot of the time it's a bit of a nuisance because you kind of solve one problem and you cause another problem. Another reason why builders don't do it. I'm not making excuses for them. All I'm saying is that some of these things are onerous, and some of them, they kind of see the limitations of them and they think, do you know what, I'd rather just put a coat of water repellent on the wall. But anyway, that's cavity trays. That's why you might need them, and a lot of people have got this problem. If you know somebody's got this problem, I did go to a guy one time who had this problem, and he solved it by taking the plasterboard out and building himself in a little gutter all the way along, so that it allowed the water to drip down, hopefully past the steel beams and into this little gutter. So the gutter was running the full length, if you like, under there, under the plasterboard, and it was tipping out into the wall at either end, if you like. So that's inside, that bit is still cavity wall. So that would be as if it was outside. So he was taking that water along and running it out. Now, having said that, what I tend to do when I put a steel beam in, or steel beams in, across here, is I put a bit of damp-proof course on the top of the steel beams, because I always think, well, if anything did get through there, at least it's got that bit of damp-proof course to run along. If you make the damp-proof course, just turn it up slightly at each edge, and it just means it can run along and it can tip out the ends there. So that's something that, you know, you can do, which just helps the situation along, but that has to be done when the extension is being built. But I know a lot of guys don't bother doing that, and I can understand why, but I always think just poking that little bit of damp-proof course in and just giving it a little bit of a U shape between the beams, if there's a gap between the beams, is a good idea. But it's not approved by anybody, not recommended by anybody. I hope you found that interesting and useful. Do come back and see us soon on Skill Builder. We'll have more of these Know Your House videos if they're popular. If we keep getting thumbs up, we keep getting views, we'll keep doing them. If we keep getting thumbs up, and we keep getting views, we'll keep doing them. I'm Roger Bisbee, thanks for watching.